Tonight we have Casey from Eastern Wisconsin Paranormal Team, and he's going to tell us all kinds of things. He's going to talk about some of his investigations, how he got into the paranormal, and everything else. So let's talk to Casey. Casey, how did you get so interested in the paranormal?
Honestly, it was I don't know, you guys probably heard of TAPS Ghost Hunters team.
Yes, Taps. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We're very familiar with.
They were the ones that actually got me interested. And then I guess 4 years ago, a friend of mine when I came back home, she introduced me to an investigation. I was hooked ever since. Like they always say, when you start one investigation, you get stuff you're gonna want to do more and try to get more evidence and all that kind of stuff. So I've been doing that ever since.
And Casey, how long has your excuse the dog?
That's
How
okay.
long has your group been around?
I 4 years actually. I started this when I started. So like after my first investigation, I'm like, I want to do this more. I started my own team. So
How did you go
And
about choosing members for your team?
um, right now I have my fiance, which is also now my co-owner slash case manager, and then I have another friend who's in Minnesota. He's also a member. And then his mom is our financial manager. So we kind of established something
Okay.
that will work.
Key parts.
Yep, yep. So, but I'm the final decision maker, so to speak, since I'm the owner of the team. So,
and what are some of the investigations that you've been on?
um, we've done probably, I would say, over 25 to 30 businesses within the last 4 years. We also did probably about four um, home investigations, but we haven't officially started home investigations yet. We actually now are starting to do ghost tours for two locations. So it kind of advanced to that. So
And Casey, you mentioned Taps. Um, when Taps magazine was out, I don't know if it's out anymore, but yeah, they published three of my articles. So yeah,
oh,
I'm very
cool.
familiar with Taps. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, and
Uh,
I have actually met everybody on their team. I actually met them, so it was kind of cool, but nervous. The nerves that when you meet people like that, the nerves kick in.
yeah.
So,
Well, when they did Preston Castle, I had the opportunity to meet them, but I was busy in the Bay Area.
uh,
So yeah, but yeah, yeah, they're pretty good guys. Um, so who are some of the notables that you met?
um, well, I met them. Do you guys know the Ghost Brothers?
Yes, we know the go. Believe me, we know all. We know them
Eh,
all.
Yeah,
We know the Ghost Brothers. Yeah.
the only team I haven't really met was Ghost Adventures.
Okay. All right.
Otherwise, I pretty much met them all because I went to the Michigan Paracon that they have every year or did,
Mhm.
and that's where I met everybody. So
Yeah. Like Zandine down there, he's met Billy Carson. Have you ever met
uh,
Billy Carson?
no, no.
No. Okay.
Casey, I'm the real soul brother. I'm the real ghost brother original since 2008.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, you said you also too. You know Brian Kano.
Yes, I met him. Um, I don't talk to him very often, but I do know him, and I'm
Yeah.
acquaintance of his, obviously.
Well, yeah, I had a nice conversation with Brian. Brian's going to be on this show.
Oh,
So, yeah, I'm trying to get him set up for March.
okay.
So, because I'm right now, I'm booked up all the way to February. So, I talked to Brian Kano. He's kind of busy during Christmas, blah, blah,
No.
blah. So is everybody. But he said that he would love to be on the show, probably get him on March.
Yeah, and I was shocked, but I actually was privileged enough to meet Ozzy Osbourne's son Jack. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. And I did that
Nice.
one segment where they went to Bakersfield
Hmm.
at that one hotel,
Yep.
the portals to hell. So
Yep.
I worked, yeah, I worked with them on that. Zandy, what also too, you do ghosts, but do you do UFOs? Do you do cryptids? Do you do shadow people? Do you do any of that?
Shadow people, I've never encountered one yet. I never got into the UFO thing. I'm wanting to, but I was never introduced into that kind of stuff yet, if that makes sense.
So that basically all you do is ghosts.
Yep, for the most part.
Enough.
Hmm. What's your best case?
Well, I would have to say, and this is actually kind of like my second home because it's one that's in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Another gentleman built the property, and now it changed hands over the years. Obviously, it's now a winery. You can look it up. It's Captain's Walk Winery. Um, the spirits know me pretty well there, and the place is just beautiful inside, especially.
And what's the name of this place?
It's called Captain's Walk Winery.
Okay.
Casey, has there been any case that made you feel like quitting? That it was so good?
No, actually, the cases I've been wanting me to do more. 'Cause I've been touched. I felt at one point I was in an old brothel and I actually felt like I was sat on by
Okay.
someone
Okay.
unseen force. So I mean,
That's what I was gonna ask you. Like, what's the thing that you said, aha, like this is really more than just the TV and more than just Koshak and Night Stalker. It's like for real.
yeah, that the stuff I experienced in some of these locations is just like interesting because like I was in a hotel that I might be doing a paracon in. I was in one of the rooms and I had my hand held, like someone spiritual was holding my hand, and I'm
Man,
like, okay, this is weird. So I had someone bring the thermal camera over, and
okay.
come to find the top part of my hand was normal temperature, the bottom where my fingers are were 20 degrees, well, like below than what the normal temperature was. I'm like,
Yeah.
and
o-
I ruled out being it the cold because it was this time of year. But if you're by the window, normally the top part of your hand is colder than the bottom part of your hand when you're by the window at that time. Well, it was the
hmm,
opposite. So I'm like, that's
oof.
unexplainable. Especially we were getting intelligent responses on top of that. So it's like you kind of really can't deny that experience.
Wow. I'm always interested in that, like the one that just really lets you say, even if your family says, "Why do you do this?" You you think back to certain experiences that you can't even really relate to them.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, my family is very supportive. Though they would never ghost hunt, which I don't understand why, but
Yeah, yeah.
they do support. So it's like, I mean, I'm helping people, I'm helping the spirits if they want it. So it's like I've had priests and ministers say that doing stuff like this, helping owners, helping the spirits, kind of form of ministry in a way. You know, if you're
That's
helping them move
cool.
on or helping somebody out, you know, it's a win-win.
Oh, that's deep. So you feel a purpose. That's even deeper. That's better.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and my way of giving back, even though I can't serve, I can't, be a cop, firefighter, whatever that.
Yeah.
But this is my way of giving back by helping homeowners feel safe in their homes with that aspect, along with businesses.
Love it.
Because if you gotta have if you have that stuff and you're not comfortable, then you're not gonna want to be there. So that thrives me too. If it makes them feel better after I do my job, then I did my job.
Ah, okay. That's all right. I like that. It's a purpose.
So
Yeah.
how do you go about cleansing, Casey?
Uh, I actually never had to really cleanse, but we do have people that do cleansing. Like I got connections of people that actually do that for a living. Like they would come out and help me if I needed it. They would, I don't usually use mediums much, but I will if I have to. If they're not wanting to communicate, then they can help out, especially helping them move on and stuff like that. Then I would bring one in.
Casey, do you document your cases?
Um, I I don't have just got 3 GoPro cameras, which I love. I love those 'cause they can go anywhere. But I do recordings all the time. That's my main go-to.
When I'm saying document your cases, would I be able to go into the internet and read about some of the cases of Eastern Wisconsin Paranormal Team?
I haven't fully established that yet because I'm not really good with social media. But I do have someone that's going to be teaching me how to do that, and we plan on building more of that.
Yeah, because there's some ghost hunting groups, and they'll leave something on Facebook. They'll go, "Well, that was a great investigation." Well, what was the investigation? What did you investigate? What
Right.
was the outcome?
Right. Yeah.
They leave these cryptic messages, and they're not documenting anything. I mean, how are other people going to learn if you don't document? You got to have like a blog site,
Yep.
like HPI, Halo Paranormal Investigation, which
Yep.
is my team. We document everything. You can
Okay.
watch our videos, you can listen to our EVPs, you can read an article
Mm.
about our investigations, and we have 2,500 investigations.
Wow.
So it's very important to get that information out there.
Yeah, I do have connections now that I will be able to do that now. So I will be having some sort of content, um, sites, Facebook pages, stuff like that that I can get out. Like I said, I've been in this field for 4 years, so I'm still learning. So
Yeah.
you know,
Do you keep a journal
Casey?
of your investigations? A personal journal of anything like that, like a diary?
um, I write down the places that I've been to, um, like the dates, and then obviously the times, who the manager is at that time, those kind of things. Um, there actually been a few where I like went back multiple times, and yeah, I write that stuff down too. And almost every investigation I've been to, everybody says I'm welcome back anytime I want. So obviously I'm doing my job correctly. Because I wouldn't have that reputation to go back anytime I want. So that's good to know too.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah. That's
that's a
important. That's awesome.
great place to start with writing. Like Paul's prolific with his writing.
Right.
Um, and he's, you know, a professional writer, so he's fast. But having a journal like that, you know, makes it easy to go back and be able to say, all right, date and time. I remember we did this, we did this, we did this, and yeah, that you can just put pen to paper, and then it's just a matter of finding the place to copy and paste and put it wherever you want. Paul puts everything on archive.org for posterity. That way, generations in the future will be able to look back and say, okay, you know, this is, you know, these are the investigations that were carried out, and this is what happened. So it's a way of, you know, basically throwing information, throwing yourself out into the future for people, you know, long after we're gone, to be able to look back and say, oh, this happened. You know?
Yeah, and I've always asked if any spirits had followed me home, and actually, yes, they do follow. They did two of them follow me home, but they're not evil spirits. They're actually more protective of me, particularly. So it's kind of like that's a good thing, you know, especially when I'm investigating and I know I have spiritual backup if I need it. You know, that would not make anything else follow me home.
We've had other guests that had differing opinions on that. What's your opinion about that, Paul? About spirits following you home?
Well, you know, like, and Phil, I know you're very familiar, and Zandine, you're familiar with Old Sacramento.
Absolutely.
Well, if you go to Evangeline's is that's a costume shop. It's very haunted. People go in there all the time. They leave Evangeline's. No spirits follow them. And the reason why the spirits don't follow them, because they have no reason to. They're more familiar with Evangeline. So I always hear these people go, oh, I won't go into a haunted place because something's going to follow me home. What? You just walked into Evangeline's and nothing's following you home. And so, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I hear that all the time. It drives me crazy. I want to pull my hair out.
Somebody want to follow you home, man? Huh?
Yeah, right.
Hey, Casey, you know, I want to just tell you real quick. Casey, I want to tell you real quick for the social media thing. Don't worry about that, because each passing moment that you don't get into it, there's something so faster and more incredible at your disposal. For example, like right now, you could take one of your clips, you can put it in the AI machine. It'll put it up on like 12 different social media platforms for you. You don't even have to do it. So don't even worry about that. You just have to get you a little Chat GPT cheat sheet and you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I can look into that
too.
too.
Is to document.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll document everything. You have a personal assistant. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I mentioned about cameras, I've got 3 GoPro cameras and I'm getting more just because you could literally put them anywhere. You can wear them and whatever you see, that camera's going to see, which I like, you know. So I've been using those more.
Yeah. Don't you have a Phil? Phil, aren't you good with the GoPro? Phil knows a lot about the GoPro from what I understand.
Yeah, I've used GoPros for years. They keep making them better and better. You know, way back in the day, I used the first generation ones and second generations, and they make so many accessories for them, and they make them smaller and smaller and better, and stabilization is now built into them, where back in the day it wasn't. You had to buy a what do they call it? I have one in the closet, a gimbal.
Yeah.
And things like that. And I had the strap to your chest, the strap to your head, the strap to your back. I have a what do they call it? A drone in the closet that I never use, but it's a $4,000 drone sitting there not getting used.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a nice gift. But well, I'm in Florida and I don't have a team around me, so I have a bunch of equipment that just doesn't get utilized. Unfortunately, anymore. Not since I left Sacramento. But yeah, I miss it. I do.
Casey, so what do you think about orbs?
You know, I'm like, it depends on where they would be. Like, if you're in a historical place there's dust all over, chances are that might be the case, but then there are chances where it's an orb. Because I know a lot of teams would dismiss orbs being a spirit entity because of that reason. Do I believe in orbs? I do. But it just depends on when and where and the pattern of these orbs go. So that's really my opinion on that.
And Casey, when you say pattern, one of the things that we do, okay, like orbs can be almost anything. Could be lint, skin flakes,
Yep.
light refractions, dewdrops, you name it,
Yep.
dust.
Yep.
But if you can show that the orb has intelligent movement, then you can deem it as paranormal. So, like if I put my hand against the wall
Yep.
and I say, "Who is ever listening to me, appear by my hand," and then there's an orb at my hand.
Yeah.
We've done that many times. And real quick, we had this one ghost named Emily. She would drain the energy off of people.
Okay.
And one of my investigators, he needed to sit down because his energy was drained. I said, I wonder if
Yeah.
Emily's doing that. I said, Emily, if you're listening to me, kiss him on the lips. And we took a picture, 3 cameras, and there was an orb on his mouth. Then I said, Emily, if you're listening to me, sit on his lap. The orb was now hovering over his lap. That showed intelligent movement.
Yep.
That was something that I can deem as paranormal.
Yep, and that's what I mean as well for that, and like the different patterns that they're going around like circles or like zigzags and stuff like that instead of falling down. You know what I mean? Like if they have different, like literally flight paths that a normal dust particle would not do. You know, then I would say that possibly could be energy, your spirit energy. So I mean, I looked at as that as well.
When you were a child, Casey, did you have any kind of paranormal experiences?
Back then I didn't know, but then again, um, I lived in a house and my room was actually down in the basement, and I was actually seeing children's spirits in that home. So it was kind of interesting that, and it's funny because at that time, I was living with my brother at the time at the same time, and I'm like, I told him, I kind of asked the spirits to mess with them, like closing the microwave on them, closing the, doors on them and stuff like that. Like not on him, but near him, so it kind of like spooks him a little bit. So I mean, stuff like that. But it was never really um, malicious that I've encountered.
You know, you're from Wisconsin, and Wisconsin is known for a cryptid that everybody's familiar with, werewolves. Werewolves are seen in Wisconsin. Do you think you'll ever do an investigation on werewolves of Wisconsin?
Yeah, I'd be open. I'm open to really anything, honestly. Like if I'm called to a case and they're like, oh, it's demonic. Well, of course I'm going to investigate to help, but I'm not in that expertise of those entities. But I'm not going to back down because of that.
You know, like there was a case where these hunters, they saw 3 werewolves by the river, and the werewolves were drinking water from the river.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, if I ever went to Wisconsin, that's what I would want to hunt, werewolves.
Okay.
How about you, Phil and Zandine? You guys want to hunt some werewolves?
I want to see about dog man.
Yeah, dog man.
Yeah. What you say, Phil? What do you think, Phil?
Wondering if Wisconsin werewolves are into cheese.
You never know. I mean,
Yeah.
possible.
Was there one movie as a kid that really scared the hell out of you?
American Werewolf in London. That was
I
a
love
good one.
that one. That was there one that really got you, Casey, as a kid that just scared the hell out of you?
Not really, honestly. Even
Did you
scary movies today really don't bother me either for some reason.
did you like scary movies or just no interest at all?
Just really no interest, really.
So how'd you get interested in paranormal if you normally into them, I think anyway, from from entertainment, or ghost stories or books,
Mine, like I was telling him that when I started watching paranormal TV shows, Taps was one of the TV shows that got me really interested. Now, when I was a kid, I didn't really thought I would ever be doing investigations like us and them type thing, and now I'm doing it because a friend of mine introduced me to it. I mean,
So Kolchak the Night Stalker didn't do anything for you as a kid?
no, not really.
Really? Oh, man, that was a great
X-Files
show.
didn't do nothing?
Yeah, I mean, come on. I want to know.
Blackula.
I want to believe.
Casey, you probably didn't see Blackula, but if you would have saw Blackula when you were young, that guy
Which-
William Marshall was like this classical actor, but he was so scary that one time when he was in San Francisco, he came to a Halloween party and he made the mistake of coming in his costume and he scared the hell all the kids like ran and left. They left the party.
Oh, gee.
So he had to come back the next day and he came in regular clothes, but he was explaining about acting. He was a deep guy. He was saying focus, he was explaining to kids, but this dude, like his bone structure, he just looked like a real demon,
Right.
I saw, hey, Zandine, seen that movie, Blackula. And what I liked about Blackula, it was connected to Dracula. Dracula turned him into a vampire and he became Blackula.
Mama Walden, yeah, he was an African. It was an interesting take on it. But
Yeah,
you probably were older, huh?
There was two of them, right? Wasn't it Blackula and Scream Blackula Scream?
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Phil.
I like
seen
that.
them both. I've seen them both.
I think
And
was Pam Grier in the second one?
I think so. Yep.
Yeah.
Mama Walden's girlfriend.
And I also too saw Blackenstein.
Okay.
Did you see
That was, that was weird. That shit was probably trying to be funny.
No, Blackenstein, I saw that. And then, of course, Superfly, Shaft. They say that cat Shaft is a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
my favorite was Dolomite and the Human Tornado.
I was just about to ask you about Dolomite. Dolomite, yeah, we got
Rudy Ray Moore. He was my favorite.
Man, that dude.
Zandine, I sent a message to Billy Carson and Malcolm McDowell to get them on the show.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Billy Carson is probably, unless he do it like on a humbug, he probably has a fee and an agent and all that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we ain't gonna pay him, but I sent him a message.
He's a good dude, though. Be off the camera. He is a real good dude. Like he's actually compared to the information that he puts out. Like, dude is really down to earth, and he is about helping and stuff. So whether I agree with all the information or not, like, dude is a good dude.
Well, it's so funny because I didn't realize I had a connection to Billy Carson. And I just happened to look at my news feed and I saw that I was friends with him. And we actually exchanged messages a long time ago because he was asking about a book. And I knew about the book because I was talking about it in one of my blogs. So, and then I saw that, I said, oh shit, let me send him a message and try to get him on the show.
Let me ask you, so do you believe that you believe in Thoth, the person that can reincarnate at any time, and because that whole Atlantean connection is all based on him. They're all about those emerald green. Casey, I don't know if you're up on the emerald green tablets.
No.
Okay, yeah, we don't want to get into that, but if you're doing enough ghost investigations, I'm sure you're going to come across somebody that's seen a UFO, because a lot of times those energies overlap.
Right.
It seems like. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to see if that happens.
Yeah, I've never yet actually seen one in person, but I'm kind of anxious to do so, just to say I've seen one type thing, you know? Yeah,
You will.
In a way, I hope so. In a way, I
Well-
don't. But
Well, Zandy, and it's funny that you say that because Wisconsin does actually have a lot of UFO sightings out there.
yep.
So you got the big sky out there.
Yeah, there's been humanoid sightings in Wisconsin. I mean, where they've actually come down, and I mean, you'd be
Well,
surprised.
Well, I
Right.
even think the werewolves have something to do with extraterrestrials. I think there's
It
a
could be.
connection there. Yeah.
It could be. Yeah. Yeah.
Gene
Back in
pool?
Casey, have you
So-
have you done any prisons?
Actually, I have.
Okay,
Ooh.
tell us
Nice.
what prisons have you done?
I don't know if you guys heard of Old Juliet Prison down in Illinois.
Yep.
I've been there. I investigated with Dave Schrader and Shane Pittman
Okay.
down there, and people when you say prison, a lot of people think it's bad. As far as spirit wise, they always say, "Oh, it's bad, it's bad." Not all of them. When I was at Old Juliet, I never experienced anything bad. Not even in death row, I never felt anything negative. I mean, I've learned that if you go into a location with positive mindset and good intent, you more likely not going to get negative energy because they feed off the negativity. So if you think negative, they're going to feed off of you. So then they're going to give you that, you know. That's what I've learned over the 3 years I've done this. So
Name some of the public places that you investigated that we might have heard of.
I've done Old Julia Prison. I've done the Sheboygan State Asylum here in Wisconsin. I done Old Baraboo Inn, which is an old brothel / bar, where Al Capone used to hang out. So I ran into his spirit. And then, like I said, there's so many that I've done that.
And
then
Al
there's-
Capone was also too in Alcatraz.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's one of the hotspots I want to go to. But
What happened when you ran into Al Capone's spirit? Tell us a little bit about that.
it would. I mean, again, like when I was at the Baraboo Inn, it didn't even really bug me much. I mean, again, like I went into a positive mindset, so I know alive wise, he was not a friendly guy, so to speak. I mean, it wasn't. I don't think he was evil, but it wasn't. You know. So for me, with him, it was just, "Hi, how you doing?" type of thing. I mean, that's where I had the feeling where I was sat on, and then I come home, do the review of my audio, and I get the word a-hole on my audio at that particular time. So am I going to say that's him? No, because there's no, voice wise of proving it's him. You know what I mean? That type of thing. But I've never experienced anything negative around him. So
That's just curious in particular because everybody has two sides. Of course, his friend said he was a very generous person. He gave to soup kitchens in Chicago, anonymously. I might add, he didn't advertise about it, but he also ended up dying of syphilis you know. So they said he was, you know, literally like mentally disabled by the time he died. So I was just, you know, kind of curious as to if there was anything specific that you felt or heard, you know, from your experience with him.
Not really, no.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, you're saying Juliet. Is that Joliet? Is that the same thing they talk about in the Blues Brothers?
I'm not sure. I mean, you could look up the prison name. It's Old Juliet Prison. It's in Juliet, Illinois.
Yeah, it's a very famous prison.
Juliet, huh?
Yeah.
How do you spell it?
Joliet.
Yeah, Joliet.
Yeah.
Not like Romeo and Juliet. Joliet.
Right.
Yeah, Joliet.
Yeah. In the very beginning of the Blues Brothers, you know, Dan Aykroyd picks up, you know, John Belushi, you know, from outside of the old place.
Yep.
You know something? I've been to an active prison, San Quentin Prison.
You went inside
there? Yeah, San Quentin. And guess how I got in there?
Armed robbery?
No. my second marriage, my best man, his wife was the acting warden of San Quentin. So they actually invited me inside. I had lunch and they told me, do not look at any of the prisoners in the eye. Focus on your food, but don't be staring at them. So yeah, I was actually there. And then I wasn't a paranormal investigator yet, but I was going, I wonder if I'm going to encounter any kind of ghost in San Quentin, but I didn't know.
Did anybody tell you you had nice shoes?
Huh?
Did anybody tell you they liked your shoes?
You know, go get your shine box.
So that's something you don't want to hear in prison.
Right.
He would shine them all up and make it look like mirrors. Bill knows what I'm talking about. That's from the movie Casino.
Mm.
No, Goodfellas.
Oh, that was Goodfellas. Okay. But I also too, I investigated Folsom Prison and I investigated Alcatraz. And yeah, I think that's all the prisons I ever investigated. And Folsom has a lot of history.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're familiar with Johnny Cash,
Yes.
Folsom Prison Blues.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Do you guys know what mistake was made with Folsom Prison Blues, the song?
Nope.
Okay. He goes, I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Okay, so if he shot him in Reno, that's in Nevada. He would go to Nevada State Prison, not Folsom State Prison. That's California.
Wow.
So Johnny Cash screwed up.
Wow.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I played blues one night in Folsom and at the Powerhouse, and we met some gals, and one of the gals was well-to-do. She lived in Folsom, and she turned out to be like some big tax auditor lady. I mean, the house had, I mean, there's one person living in the house is like 9,000 square feet, and some guy, whoever didn't get her, they got the blues. But you know, that was my Folsom City blues with, you know, meeting some ladies at the Blues Club. That's about the best blues story I got there.
Zandine, back in the early 90s, I used to go to the Powerhouse.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
I tear that place up, man. That's my home.
Oh, I bet.
I tear that. I jump off that stage. I get on that bar. I swing from the shed. I mean, literally.
You know something, Zandy? I think I've seen you. Were you doing this in the early 1990s?
Not at Powerhouse.
No? Okay. Because I saw somebody like you at the Powerhouse. But
nah, he wasn't like me. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding.
Casey,
but no, I mean, no, seriously. That's a trip about the Reno about Johnny Cash, about that piece, but I never did. I didn't even catch it the first time I heard about that, man.
Yeah. Every time I hear the song, my dad used to force me to play guitar when I was young, and that was
Good
one of the
man.
songs, that was one of the songs that I had to play.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know
And
that,
then I had
Paul.
to play that song, Cigarettes and Whiskey and Wild Wild Women. These are songs I could care less about. It's like I wanted to play rock and roll, but my
Right.
dad was forcing me to play Folsom Prison Blues and all that other crap. But anyway, Casey, let's get back to you.
Okay.
Okay. Casey, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still here.
What is one of the strangest things on one of your cases that you encountered or saw?
Well, the hotel is one that I encountered. I actually on one of my friend's cameras, I caught a shadow figure on the wall going up the wall.
Damn.
And it was
shadow
weird.
figure? Okay.
Yep. And everybody's like, "Well, that's behind you." I'm like, "No, it's not." And they're like, "What do you mean it's not behind you?" I said, "I'm sitting in a chair up against the cement wall. How is someone going to be behind me? There's no way. There's no way to, and everybody was sitting, so there's no way if it's going up a wall that it's one of us." And it moved pretty quick. And you would have heard this person if it was an actual person moving. And you didn't hear anything. So it was kind of cool.
What experience have you had with one of your like partners, or say maybe a close person to you where you guys both saw the same thing?
Actually, I don't think I ever encountered that part.
Okay.
That I recalled anyway.
Casey, your visual is blurry.
Yeah, I don't know why it would be. Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit better. Yeah. Huh. That's interesting. Casey, are you, as time goes on and you do these investigations, are you going to learn about different type of cleansings and stuff like that to help these people?
Yes, because I do know a couple of people that have different types of sage, and some of the mediums that I talk to have those, so they agreed to teach me how to do a lot of this stuff with saging and how to do it properly, so that when I actually do it, I'm not doing it wrong.
Okay, all right. And like with us, we do Roman Catholic house blessings,
Okay.
using holy water, the cross, and stuff like that. And if you have a demon attachment, I actually conduct a full submersion baptism, which is a basic form of exorcism.
Hmm.
Yeah. Would you be willing to baptize somebody?
If I was taught how to do it properly, yes.
It's like giving somebody a bath.
Right. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But so Casey, what are your next cases coming up?
Actually, honestly, I just got back with meeting a client. It's actually a prohibition spirit cigar lounge,
Mhm.
and so they sell liquor and cigars there, and they have stuff falling off the shelves and all kinds of stuff that he wants us to check out and make sure it's nothing evil or just wanting attention. So I'm just going in there trying to figure that out, and then he wants me to do events with him in that aspect, but I don't know when that'll be. Right now, I'm focused more on the investigation at this point.
How many investigations do you get a month?
Before I met my fiance, I would say probably 1 or 2 a month.
1 or 2 a month?
Yeah.
Okay. What is some of the equipment that you use?
I use K2 meters. I have a millimeter REM pod combination. I have a couple REM pods. I've got laser grids. I've got I don't have much. And then I also got 3 GoPro cameras that I have. So and then I got like I would say 4 or 5 digital recorders, including my phone, which is one of my best recorders that I've got because I can hear nearly everything. Like I could hear somebody across the room clear as day. So I mean, that's pretty much all the equipment I have.
Okay. When you do EVP sessions, electronic voice phenomenon,
Yep.
how do you go about it?
I always tell people that are with me to talk normal like we are, because when you talk whisper, those recorders are really sensitive, and if spirits are talking, you get that mix up of it's a human or not, and that's why I have people talk normal, so that I know between a spirit and a human voice. Because when you're whispering, you're not gonna get that, difference.
The way we do it, Casey, is we do a quick and dirty.
Okay.
We'll do a quick and dirty EVP session. So let's say we walk around the house, we do a
Mhm.
sweep, and we'll just go, is there anybody here? We pause, give it time to talk,
Yep.
play it back. So I'll say, is there anybody here? I play it back and it says, yeah, I'm right here. So if a house is really haunted, I usually can get an EVP within 30 minutes
Yep.
just by doing a sweep. I don't leave the recorder on all night because when I get home, I don't want to be listening to recorders all night long.
Right.
I want the information there and quick. And I
Yeah.
produce the information to the occupants right there.
Right. Yep. And the winery that I did interview or investigations at, that one in particular, I didn't even say anything. I turned the recorder on, sat there for 5 minutes, and I've got EVPs right off the bat. So I don't really have to. Sometimes I don't have to say anything, and they just start talking. So,
Yeah.
and honestly, I don't know that until I go back and listen to it. But again, we do a lot of EVP stuff, and I actually do sometimes. I'll listen to it live. Like I'll have it plugged in, and I'll listen to it live, and that's how I can tell, that there's something there. And then obviously I go back and revamp it to where I can hear it more clearly.
Yeah. You ever try playing any of it backwards? A lot of times, if you have a conversation while you're getting EVPs and you play the conversation backwards, you get two things. You actually sometimes get the word that the person is really thinking about sums up their whole conversation. So it might be, I love that person. You'll hear a little bit of English. The same thing with the ghost voice as well. You should try it sometime.
Yeah, I can do that.
What do you think about residual haunting, or some people call living ghosts?
Honestly, I don't know, to be honest. As
Do you know
you
what a
know,
living ghost is?
no.
Okay. A living ghost is somebody who's still alive. Um,
Mm,
let's say for Phil and Zandine, they get out into the street, they get into an argument, and they start throwing some blows.
Not
Okay.
being
mm.
filled.
they, they
Bro.
start throwing some blows. Well, that negative energy is now impacted into the atmosphere
Yep.
and it replays itself. So sometime you're out there, you're doing an investigation, people say, yeah, I saw this guy, I think his name is Zandine and Phil, trading blows out in the middle of the street.
Mm,
Well, they were ghosts, but they're still alive.
right.
So that it could be positive energy or it could be negative energy
Right.
that you throw out into the atmosphere. It's residual. It'll replay itself over and over again. So have you ever encountered something like that?
Not yet.
No.
Mm-mm.
So basically, then I came out in the street and I was a referee and I told them to break it up and I slapped both of them. But anyway,
Mm, mm.
but
Right.
yeah, Casey. So you got your cases coming up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll be
And now,
doing 2 ghost tours pretty soon.
okay.
Nice. Nice.
And what is the ghost tour involved? What are so? Let's say I buy a ticket. What am I going to see?
What my understanding is, it's kind of like an investigation, but it's not just your team. It's like public that come in. Like you purchase a ticket, you're doing the investigation. We're discussing the history of it while you're doing the investigation, that kind of stuff, and giving the history of the location at the same time.
It's
So
cool.
So you're very familiar with the history of these different places.
Yes. Yep.
So on this ghost tour, what? Give me a sample. What is one of the histories?
Um, the winer or the tannery that we're doing, there we know of 4 different portals in the building. We know there was a train track that went before the building was built. You know, the trains were obviously removed, the tracks removed, but um, the location of it still kind of resides there somewhat. So we kind of like the location where it was and activity that resides with that. Like there's one where there's a ghost sighting of the captain of the train or the engineer of the train in those locations, so that would make sense. And then it's just, you know,
Hmm. And that was all the history.
from what I know that I remembered of it. We still have to go over a lot more because we haven't actually started it yet, but we're still learning everything before we do
Yeah.
start it. So we're
The
going
portals
at
sound
it.
interesting. Man, the
Yeah,
portals sound what's up with the portals?
I don't know, honestly. He just tells me, you know,
Yeah.
he just tells me where they are, and that he said that he had mediums come in, and that's why he knows they're there.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, you just getting to check it out. But yeah, I'm interested in portals. You ever done anything else with portals in Wisconsin, anywhere else? Or is this debate about the first time?
This would be the first time.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
Like I said, go ahead.
when my team did ghost tours, we used to go to serial killer victim sites. So we
Ah.
went to Morris Solomon Jr., the handyman. He killed a woman over at William Lamb Park. We knew the
Mhm.
area. The I-5 Strangler, which is Roger Kibbe, that was
Mhm.
over on Sutterville and I-5 along the riverbank, where he
Mhm.
had a woman in his car. He opened up the
Okay.
glove compartment and pulled out some scissors and started snipping at her dress. So
Wow.
she was terrorized, and then he strangled her. We did Richard Trenton Chase, aka the
Mhm.
Vampire of Sacramento. We
Okay.
went to the victim homes. There's one home that they can't sell because he killed 4 people in that home, a family of 4.
Wow.
Um, what else we did? Oh, Doretha Puente, of course. We had to do her. That was on F Street. So, yeah, we're doing all these serial killer. Oh, we even did Leonard Lake and Charles Ng.
Mm.
And they killed something like 30 women, and they videotaped every single one of them.
Oh,
So,
geez.
yeah, they had all kinds of tapes. Yeah, and the people who would go on our tour, they loved it. I mean, they
Mhm.
loved the macabre. So,
Yeah. Have you ever done Charles Manson murders at
oh yeah,
all?
yeah, we did Lauren Willett in Stockton.
Okay.
She was killed by a Manson follower, and the Manson family was actually staying there. And I actually have another connection with Charles Manson because Manuel Ayala Jr. was my uncle, and he was a CHP, California Highway Patrol. He pulled over Charles Manson when he was driving his van to Spawn Ranch.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
kind of cool.
and then we got Phil over here, and he wrote a book called City of Blood. It was about Sacramento and all the hideous things that happened in Sacramento.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, Phil, see, if you were in Sacramento, you would probably give a good ghost tour because you had all that history about all the terrible things that happened out here.
Oh yeah, a lot of nasty stuff in Sacramento. It's people
Mm.
don't realize just how bloody history. Yeah, largest amount of Native Americans killed in the entire United States, all in a 10-year period of time, just in the Sacramento Valley.
Wow.
Yeah,
I know LA is one of the worst parts too with that, with killings and all that.
yeah. That's LA's bad, but Sacramento, because it's the terminus of the Transcontinental Railroad, and because even before that it's always been a crossroads, right? So terminus of the
Mhm.
Transcontinental Railroad, it's where the rivers meet, and it's all these highways meet at the same time, and because of
Mhm.
the long days, it makes for just great hunting grounds for killers. FBI says that at any given time there's like 50 active serial killers in the United States, and roughly 15% of those reside in and around Sacramento for some reason.
Damn,
Huh.
So
Interesting.
that's scary.
real
Right.
dangerous place. Yeah, and it's just a creepy place. That they said, I think it was Ken Burns said, when it went to the gold rush happened,
Hmm.
that people, when they went crazy, for gold, mad, and people who were otherwise normal, decent, God-fearing individuals, school teachers and bankers and everything else, when they came out west, they completely turned into monsters.
Wow.
And they treated each other, and especially the Native Americans who were here, horribly. Raped, murdered, pillaged. There were bounties on the natives' heads. First, it
Hmm.
started off at like, I think, a quarter a scalp, and went all the way up to like $5 per scalp. If you
Mhm.
saw a Native American child all by itself, you could just take it and make it your slave. There was a story about a Native a guy, riding into town with 2 little kids walking beside him, and they said, how'd you get these two children? He said, their parents are dead. He said, well, how do you know they're dead? He goes, well, because I killed them.
Oh,
You know, I
jeez.
guess there's scalps right here, and so he killed their parents, made them slaves, collected the $5 per scalp at the Capitol building.
Wow.
There was another instance where they a bunch of Native Americans were hiding in a barn, and a group of men came upon them, and the men of the Native Americans thought that the women and children would be safe, so they fled, and they left the women and children there. Well, they weren't safe. The white men went in there and basically killed all the women and children.
Wow.
They were just horrific, and so over 250,000 Native Americans were slaughtered in the first 10 years of the gold rush. And the American River outside of Sacramento, right there, its original name was Rio de las Lagas, which means River of Sores, and that name is supposed to be because of like the 5 wounds of Christ, which is where Sacramento gets its name, the Blessed Sacrament. But they believe, there's a theory that this the name actually comes from smallpox, because apparently some Russian fur trappers came there before Sutter got there. I think they were there maybe 3 years before Sutter showed up. And so by the time Sutter came and sailed up the American River, he met little to no resistance from the Native Americans there, because he found nothing but almost empty villages along the American River and dead bodies along the shore, because when you're dying of fever, you're just trying to reach cool, fresh water. And he found nothing but empty huts and dead bodies. Smallpox had ravaged the entire population before he even got there. There was another story where he said, everybody knows about the people coming over the pass, right? The Donner Party, right? Well, there was another party that came over there and got stuck in the snow, and Sutter had heard about it, and so he sent two Native American boys and a couple of mules up to try to help these people. And a couple of weeks later, the people came down, and he said, "What happened to the 2 scouts I sent for you and the mules?" He said, "Oh, we ate the mules and we ate the scouts too."
Oh, geez. Nasty.
Because they didn't look upon Native Americans as human beings, and so they ate the mules first, but ultimately they ended up eating the Native American scouts too, because better to eat them than to eat a white person.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so it's the whole history is just awful, and here's the real horrifying thing, is that throughout American movies you always see Native Americans yelling and scalping white people. It's the exact opposite of what really happened. Because who the hell wants a white scalp? Most white men were bald. We wore hats. Our ancestors wore hats. We didn't, they didn't have long manes other than Custer because of his vain ass. It was the exact opposite. It was the Native Americans with their long, beautiful black hair that rode a bareback across the plains. There was an newspaper article back then that said the walls of London were covered with Native American scalps, because it was the popular fashion trend at the time that Londoners loved buffalo hides and Native American scalps, and they bought them by the thousands.
No, geez.
And so they would, so you could just go and kill a Native American, take their scalp, kill a buffalo, sell them off. They'd ship them over there with their beaver pelts to London, and the English could not get enough of them.
Oh my God. And everybody looks at Kit Carson as a hero, but Kit Carson and some of his men, they went into this Indian living space, and when they killed the women, they cut off their breasts and played ball with it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And and Casey, since you're from Wisconsin, have you ever heard of the William brothers, Edward and Alonzo Maxwell? They were outlaws that equaled up to the James brothers, Frank and Jesse James. They were robbing trains and everything else. Um, do you, on your ghost tour, do you have anything? Because you also too, you had John Dillinger that hung out in Wisconsin. You get so you got anything with those guys in your tour?
No.
Okay, okay,
Mm.
that's interesting. But Wisconsin has a lot of history.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, Phil, have you ever
Yeah.
been to Wisconsin?
No, I have not. And the two times I drove across the country, I always took the southern routes, so I never went that far north.
Okay, Zandy, have you been to Wisconsin?
No, but I have some friends that I play Tecmo Bowl online because it's like an old game that for some reason a lot of people from like the Midwest and Wisconsin, because they have like in Madison, they have the biggest tournament in the world. So, Wisconsin is always kind of like on the radar. My friends are, online playing Tecmo Bowl. Yeah, did you
Well,
ever play? Did you ever play Tecmo Bowl, Casey?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I mean it's an old game, but a lot of young kids have gotten a new interest in it. But like I said, the capital is Wisconsin. But I'm wondering, have you heard of very many UFO reports in Wisconsin?
Um, I do actually. Um, I've heard there were sightings down by the old uh Sheboygan State Asylum down in that
Okay.
region of down in that area. I've heard that they've seen UFOs.
Ah,
Up in my area, I'm like 30 miles away from the Packer Stadium,
oh, okay,
and
nice.
I've never heard of anybody say anything with that, but down
Well,
by the
it's getting pretty crazy. Just in New York, they had a guy that did a record release, and he used a hologram to simulate a UFO over New York, and like people were running. They thought
Mhm.
they were scared of this shit. So you never know these days. I mean, it's getting pretty crazy.
Yeah, especially the paranormal nowadays too. It gets quite crazy too.
Well, the demon thing, there a lot of people like don't have any source and they don't know where it's coming from. They're going at different subjects, but like there's got to be some kind of source, because it
Oh,
seems like the bad is winning.
right. Yeah, because all the negativity with all these leaders and political. I'm not trying to get that involved, but you're
Yeah,
right. It's all evil stuff that's going on. So it makes you wonder if demons are playing in all this. You never know.
they're real. They're real to some people who, I mean, who are running things. So it's like we know some people we just ignore it, but evidently they know how to summon them. They know counters. They know amulets. They know their history. I mean, all this stuff.
Mm,
No, I
But I'm
believe
sure
it.
you'll have investigation where they'll have some, where somebody will have a demon and like a cedarwood ring. Um, Also, burning certain type of fish bladder is for some
mm.
reason they're really detrimental to these demons.
Oh, geez.
Why would the Skull and Bones Society do black robes and patty whacking spanking bullshit? And why would the why would the Owl Club surround a giant owl with their little red robes and torches and all that other happy horse shit? There's a significance to ritual. There really is. I mean, otherwise, why do it? It's really just is it just a big fucking circle jerk? Pardon my language. I mean, what is
Right.
the point of this if there isn't some significance to it? They must believe it at least. Somebody must believe it. In other words, in order for all these guys to go out and get the wardrobe and all the accoutrement, and waste their time and their money, and then learn the Latin verse, in order to, do this type of thing. It reminds me of Animal House. Thank you, sir. May I have another? That type of thing. Why do it if they don't actually believe that it means something?
Right.
I believe that they believe that it means something, that it's significant somehow. I'm not sure if it really is, but I believe they believe it is.
Right.
So
Yeah,
the power.
That's a great point.
I was thrown out of the Bohemian Grove. Yeah, we did an investigation over there. We went to the Dell Hotel, and that was very haunted. And just a few feet in front of us was the trail going to the Bohemian Grove. And we went up that trail, and security came out of nowhere and chased us off that trail. We were, yeah, they don't play around over there.
Yeah. Why you think about that, Paul? It's like, why would the most powerful people in the world decide to go to that place of all places? I mean, wouldn't you be like, oh, we're going to meet in the Bahamas, or
Yeah, exactly.
The south of France somewhere, Tahiti.
Yeah.
Put me on a beach with a pina colada somewhere. It's like, oh no, we're going to go hang out in the woods in Northern California somewhere. What?
Well, wait, you know something though, Phil, they do have that one organization that is connected to the Bohemian Grove, and they meet all over in different places in Europe.
The Bilderberg Group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's when they do some traveling.
Yeah, I read Mother Jones.
And like with me, I'm a Rosicrucian, but the only thing is I never attended the meeting, so they sort of like threw me out.
You've been thrown out of a lot of things, Paul. There's a
You're out there. In the abyss.
I mean, I still got my card, the card with the number on it and everything else, and I was supposed to go. I think I went to one meeting, and that was it. Yeah. Hey, I'm looking at this thing right now, and they say that Wisconsin has a lot of UFO sightings out there. La Crosse, they say, has.
I used to live in La Crosse.
Okay. They said La Crosse is number 10 in UFO sightings in United States.
Wow.
They're saying there are a lot of UFO sightings.
Now I want to go hunting. Now I want to go out there, man. Oh, man.
Yeah.
If you do, let me know. I'll go with you.
Okay, I'm gonna name them. Waukesha. Waukesha is number 9 for UFO sightings in Wisconsin. Janesville, number 8 in Wisconsin. Appleton.
That's where I live. Yep, I live in that area.
Wow.
Okay, then you know something. Yeah, Casey, you need to check out some UFOs over there. Racine, Kenosha.
Yep, I've been there.
Green Bay, Madison, and number 1 is Milwaukee.
Wouldn't surprise me none. That wouldn't surprise me none.
Yeah, so Wisconsin has all kinds of UFO sightings out there. Zandine would be in heaven.
Right.
You gotta go out there, man.
Yeah.
I gotta find a way to start showing some of the UFO clips live or give them a feel while we're talking. For talking.
Yeah. If you wanna add me to Facebook, man, we can set something up to come out here and do some UFO sightings and huntings and that kind of crap. Something to do. I'm down.
I heard, yeah.
Casey, how did your fiance get into the paranormal?
Do it.
Me. She got it with me. Yeah, through me because I told her she's basically my driver because I have a seizure disorder, so I can't drive. I mean, I could, but I choose not to just because I'm not going to risk hurting myself or someone else. So she's pretty much my driver, but she went on a case with me, and she's been hooked ever since too. So, I mean, it's just what it is, I guess. But
But that's how it starts. It's a
yeah,
good lady.
yeah, yeah. So now she's part owner of my team and my case manager on top of it. So, yeah,
Now you're getting somewhere. You said 2 a month. That's pretty good.
yeah. And with her, um, I've known her since 2001, so almost 3 decades almost. I've known her. And she's 46, I'm 42, so think of the math of now to when I met her. So it's like almost 2 decades.
Wow.
So and we just got married. We just got engaged last Christmas.
Beautiful. Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Where are you guys going to get married at?
We're in the mix of figuring that it's going to be here in the Appleton area. We got to find out a new church to go to, because the pastor that or priest or pastor that we were going to go to, he's ending up moving, so he can't do it now. So, and it's going to be in 2026 when we get married. So,
It's good you found me, man. That's your
yeah,
person.
and it's funny because her parents only remember, because I lived across the street from her. That's how I met her, and her parents only remember me because the house that was kitty corner to her, my brother built the fence on that yard, and that's how her parents remembered who I was. That's kind of,
Okay.
well, that's cool though. But yeah,
Yeah, so a little bit of history there. Okay.
yeah, a little bit. I have a lot of friends that I've known that long that I still am friends with. So
Yeah, man, you're not gonna find new old friends. That's what I tell my trusted comrades.
yep, yep.
But most of my friends, they're not into, to a lot of them. They knew me in school for studying or whatever, and sports and all that. But when they hear about like ghost or paranormal or anything like that, dude he's a little different now.
Right.
But then when they reacquaint themselves with me, they're like, it's still out there. It's just, I guess that's what he's into. So, but I'll talk to anybody that.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, when I was younger, I was shy. Like, I didn't talk to many people. I only had like selected few that I hung
Yeah.
out with. And
Okay.
now look at me today. I'm talking to you guys. I've been on podcasts. I've helped people with podcasts. So it's like, and now doing paranormal, I'm talking to everybody with no issue. But yeah, when I was younger, I was so shy.
How about
Who
that?
would have
Transform.
who would have thought I'd be doing something like this today than back then when I'm shy? So yeah,
Hey, well, Paul will get it out of you, man. Paul, he'll say, "Come on, man, you got to do this."
yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the funny thing is, a friend of mine, I've known him just as long. I've known him for 2 decades, but he we were at a club. It was a pool hall, and I was shy at that time. So what he did was he went to everybody in that pool hall and said, "Go talk to this person." You know,
Get you out your shirt.
yeah, get me out of the shell, put me on the spot, and I'm like, really? You're gonna do that to me tonight? But hey, now look back, I'm like, well, thank you, because look where I'm at now. Not being that shy anymore and talking,
It's a
and
great story. That's great,
yeah,
man.
yeah, that's pretty cool to have.
Yeah, Zandine was like my main scout, boy. I mean, I would tell him that I had a case over at San Luis Obispo, and Zandine would look at it and go, "Yeah, I'll go there." And
Let's do
boom,
it.
he was there, boy. It was like,
You got
man,
to turn
all
that
I had to
hotline
do was
back
sit.
on.
Huh?
You got to turn that hotline back on, Paul. You podcasting it. We gotta go out there and
Yeah,
No, I'm Casey. I'm really enjoying podcasting now. It's like I've done so many investigations. I sort of got burned out on it, to be honest
No,
with you. So,
no.
I mean, if something really good happens, or I hear about, I'll do it. But I
You
Right.
mean,
gotta open up the alien abduction hotline now, okay?
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Now that's something I did. I met this one lady. She called herself Omega, and her story. She actually wrote it out for me. She claimed that she was a hybrid, and oh my God, her story really makes sense, and was put into one of Tim Short's books. And
Hmm.
people are making a lot of comments on it because her story actually really coincides with so many different things. So,
Mhm.
and I may have actually met a real hybrid.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'm sure you have.
yeah.
They
You
got the
know.
hybrids and the hybrids. So you've got a hybrid that's crossed with the human, then you've got the hybrid. You know, they've gone to the next level on these. But yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
I
know we're
think,
coming up to the top of the hour, right?
yeah. Well, I think it's past the top of the hour.
Yeah, we've passed the top of the hour. My cat's giving me grief.
Yeah.
I think the
Hey,
cat. I think the cat was getting interested for a second.
Yeah,
So talking about the aliens, huh? He's like, hey, wait a minute, I'm one.
Right?
hey,
she is.
Casey, when this is all together published, I will go ahead and send you the link. This will also to be registered with IMDb. So I
Okay.
don't know. Are you familiar with that?
I'm familiar, but I've never used it.
Well, if
that
you
makes
were a
sense.
movie star, you would know what IMDb is. IMDb is registered over like in Hollywood. Um,
Huh.
so all Phil's shows here are all registered with Hollywood IMDb.
Oh, that's
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
And Casey, you're gonna see a UFO like real soon, man. I mean, my friends are your friends now. It's gonna be happening. Watch.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're together when I see it, because that'd be fun. That'd be cool.
All right. Thank you, Casey. Appreciate your time tonight.
Yep, not a problem.
Yeah, good talking to you, Casey. I'm gonna be checking out Wisconsin Paranormal.
All right. Send me a
Thank you,
message on
Casey.
Facebook. Yep.
Great
All right.
interview. Great interview.
Thank-
Thank you. See you later. Bye.